It's Monday, the 17th of June, 2026. On this 47th day of the year, major storms are brewing, stretching from California to the Ohio Valley and the East Coast. We are monitoring multiple threats. Let's dive straight in. Let's kick things off by discussing the Ohio Valley, as a rare day for severe weather risk is affecting parts of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee. What about you? From Clarksville, Lexington, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and St. Louis to Poplar Bluff, Louisville, and Evansville, it's all connected. Severe weather is expected to return between Thursday and Friday. We've been enjoying some warmth this fall, like spring weather. With that comes a cost. We might see some Gulf moisture moving in, and possibly some strong storms as a result. In fact, it's quite significant when the Storm Prediction Center issues a Day 4 outlook. We aren't just sitting around. It seems like we should start sounding the alarm on this issue immediately. As we transition from Thursday to Friday, strong storms are expected in this area, and some could pose a tornado threat. On the topic of that fall spring, let's check out the temperatures for tomorrow. Wow, check this out. By 4 p.m. tomorrow, we'll be close to 80 degrees in Dallas, 84 in San Antonio. What about you in Lincoln? It's 68 there and 64 in Sioux Falls. Over here in Nashville, we're already beginning to experience some of that warmth. It's 51 degrees all the way up to Columbus, Ohio, which is quite warm for this time of year, and it warms up even more the next day. Let's move into Wednesday. So this is the day before the day, correct? The day prior to the day. Chicago's temperatures will reach the 60s this week. It's 67 here in Springfield and in the 60s over in Columbus. As you can see, warmth extends all the way from Washington, D.C. down to Raleigh, Columbia, Jacksonville, Atlanta, Montgomery, New Orleans, Houston, and across Arkansas. We are cozy. All of this will contribute to the storm system expected to move through on Thursday. So, what's the reason for the storm system arriving on Thursday? There you have it. That's your answer. Do you see that intense cold front coming in? Got it. A substantial surge of cold air will descend, knocking out the warmth and moisture, which will result in severe thunderstorms. Here's a closer examination of the dew points we might discuss on Thursday. Observe the division. The dew point was 59 degrees in Louisville at 10 p.m. on Thursday, while it was only 31 degrees just a few miles to the west in St. Louis. You've reached 50% of the dew point. We're discussing about half of what's due in St. Louis. That clear dividing line is the spot where storms will develop. Thunderstorms occur when cool, dry air meets warm, moist air. This creates lift and can lead to storm development. This setup is quite solid for this time of year. A 55-degree dew point in Indianapolis during February is quite rare. Due to that, the newest RRFS model has created a rather intriguing scenario on the potential future radar. An arc of supercells is developing east of St. Louis, moving quickly into Indiana and Kentucky, and might even reach Ohio. Should this occur, our tornado threat will increase because we'll have individual supercells that can utilize the convective available potential energy and all the shear that will be present. I'm sure we'll see a couple of tornadoes if this setup unfolds. Once again, we're monitoring an increase in Gulf moisture, with dew points reaching the 60s as far north as Indiana, which is unusual for February. Next, we have a strengthening low-pressure system over here that will move rapidly through the Great Lakes, generating a strong wind shear that can spin these storms. Once these supercells initiate, they won't simply appear as linear formations. They're going to have a lot of spin, which will be a problem for those who live in their path. For those residing in this corridor, you should keep an eye on the weather this Thursday. Have a method in place to receive alerts that will wake you if needed. The system is highly dynamic. In February, severe weather can be especially hazardous because it catches people off guard, unlike in May where it's expected. Let's take a step back and discuss this system from a broader perspective. Observe what occurs prior to the storms. It looks like we're going to experience a bit of a blizzard in North Dakota and Minnesota from tonight into tomorrow and through Wednesday. We're expecting some really strong winds and heavy snowfall up here around Grand Forks, Fargo, and over towards Duth. Blizzard warnings are being issued for this. We had a discussion about this yesterday. While it won't be a massive deep snow event, this storm will still have an impact as it moves into the upper peninsula of Michigan and the southern regions of Ontario. After that, the Northeast will experience a hit or miss situation. It's clear that whenever that big warm air mass collides with the cold air, we get all this convection, but then it just sort of peters out. That's all we have left in upstate New York and southern New England. I don't think this will be a major snowstorm for you all. Oh, but this storm is going to have quite an impact on the Duth area, the UP of Michigan, and even the northern parts of Minnesota. It's not about wild snowfall totals, but a few folks around Grand Forks will see more than 8 inches of snow. Duth could see almost a foot of snow, especially with some lake enhancement occurring here. As for the Northeast, we're looking at a general accumulation of 1 to 3 inches of snow, just the usual. But out here in the mountains of California, nothing compares to this madness. Wow, it looks like we're going to get a massive amount of snow over here. Can you believe this about the West Coast system? We had a discussion about this yesterday. Los Angeles has seen several severe thunderstorm warnings today, some of which include possible tornado tags. That threat will persist throughout today and into tomorrow, possibly affecting areas around San Francisco and Sacramento as well. Check out these tiny individual sails arriving from the Pacific Ocean. They can rotate. There's a tornado threat in California that we'll keep discussing over the next couple of days. The primary threat will be rain, but we are monitoring the marginal risk of severe weather, including waterspouts, from today into tomorrow. The biggest travel nightmare here will be the snow. Snow could fall as low as 1,500 FT. It's more than just a snow event for those above 6,000 FT. Significant snow will be expected at elevations as low as 1,500 FT. Endangers key travel routes, such as the I-5 Grapevine. Make sure to check the conditions right away if you're planning to travel through the passes. The Sierra Nevada is in for a tough time. We're discussing additional feet of snow on top of what has already accumulated. The figure of 8 ft of snow keeps circulating out here, and it's going to be crazy. It's a 1-2 punch as 2 powerful systems arrive one after the other. This is the snow Super Bowl for California's mountains. This will also have a significant effect on Oregon, Washington, Utah, and Arizona. It's not as significant as what's happening in California, but you all are going to see some snow and maybe even some rain in the valleys too. Advancing into the future, we have our next storm system in sight. You can observe the ongoing influx of moisture into the West Coast. This is the severe weather system we're monitoring as we head into Thursday and Friday. It will move to the East Coast and could create another minor snow issue for the Boston area. New York City and Philadelphia have experienced some rain. Observe what unfolds after that. In Boston, after we receive a good amount of snow, if another system forms, we end up with a nor'easter. We have a real nor'easter trying to develop on the GFS. I mentioned yesterday that it was odd not to see any eye candy on the GFS in the long range. Here it is. February 22nd is just around the corner. We're discussing the possibility of a nor'easter. So will this really take place? Most likely not. Don't screen cap this and post it on Facebook claiming that Ryan said it's going to snow. Shoot. All right. I'm sharing a potential with you all. All right, we're enjoying ourselves. Okay, I'll inform you when this becomes a real threat. At the moment, there's only one model run that shows the area from Washington, D.C. to Boston getting hammered. So don't get ready for this. If it does happen, I was the first to tell you. The bottom line is that despite a few cold blasts here and there, the next 2 weeks are expected to be warmer than average for most of the United States, particularly in the heartland. Cities like Dallas, Oklahoma City, Topeka, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Colorado are all part of this region that is experiencing warmer than average temperatures. So, despite the fact that places like Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky will experience some cold fronts that drop the temperature for a couple of days, the average temperature over the next 2 weeks will still be above average. This will remain true moving forward. However, I believe we are still experiencing a fall spring. Is that all right? After this 2-week period, as we move into late February and early March, we'll see another change with some troughing in the east. I genuinely believe that we will be laying the groundwork for significant snowstorms during that time frame. If you love snow, keep your eyes peeled. I believe there could be more snow coming. Nothing is set in stone at the moment. After doing this for a while, I can easily spot the patterns. What rises must fall. Okay, that's all the weather chatter I have for you today. I really appreciate you all for tuning into this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Farewell. What?